Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today is the 21st of January 2020. I'm Roy Potter. Welcome. I wasn't sure I was going to do this live stream this morning. I'm actually on the road again. If you saw I didn't bring some of my things, so I have this rather improvised setup right now. I'd love to show you a picture of it. It's really kind of funny. I had to use the field expediency method, find what I have available and use it, because like I said, I wasn't sure that I was actually going to do this. So we should have a pretty good connection, and I believe that the chat is on. Yes, it is. Again, good morning, everyone. Thank God, literally thank God for the way things worked out yesterday, and we're going to talk a little bit about that, not much, because a lot of people are. My major concern is the lack of action on certain other people. I want to really be thankful, as I pointed out, for the sheriffs and the other law enforcement officers from Virginia who mingled amongst the crowd, some in uniform and I'm sure some not, with the intention of making sure that they were safe. I'm not so sure that's why the feds were there, or the ATF, or those folks. The DHS, I don't believe that that's the reason why they were, but the sheriffs mingling amongst the demonstrators, I'm sure, was the reason why events didn't occur, not just from the likes of Soros and, pardon me, yes, I do have coffee this morning. It's very cold here and it's snowing. Not caramel cream, I'm afraid. But I think having them amongst the people like that was really what stopped Soros and Obama and Northam from doing some really bad things. There were apparently a few agitators in the crowd, and the demonstrators knew what to do about that, and they took care of it, and it worked out just fine. So, unfortunately, there are those who are taking advantage of this politically on both sides, of course. We knew the MSM wouldn't tell the truth about it. We knew that Northam wouldn't. He's saying there was no incident because their teams did such good work. No, he put up a gulag there. He put up a FEMA camp. He put up a fenced-in area, something that even, as I heard somebody else say, even the Iranian regime doesn't do. So, at any rate, the bottom line is, though, is I wanted to tell you about how I'm really grateful that all those people went there. I'm glad that they were able to keep everything under control. Of course, we kind of knew they would. It was the problem with the provocateurs that we were concerned about, and whatever the government could use to taint those people with pejoratives. That's bad names. So fortunately, that did not happen. Very successful. No incidents. I heard that one lady possibly had been arrested for having a mask on. I don't know if that was Antifa or maybe one of the Second Amendment supporters. That, who knows? It could have just been that she was trying to stay warm. I don't really know the circumstances of that, but that's really nothing in the long run. So we're all very happy about that. On the other hand, something else has happened, and I was not very happy with it. And first of all, let me bash the Democrats, the communists, the Marxists, the criminals in our government. I think so. You know where I am on this. That you'll know that it's the Democrats and on those people, Democrats, who said they were going to take our weapons. Instead of they were put in power. They were put in there to represent us because they took an oath to support and defend the Constitution of the United States. So it should be a given that the Bill of Rights are untouchable. But that's not what they do, of course. They come in there and then use the living document idea to turn everything around and to say that they have a right to take away your property, take away your right to defend yourself. Lionel said it very well. I think it was last night. He said, really what they're doing is they're taking away. They're saying that they have a right to remove the tools that provide you with the ability to defend yourself. And I think that was a very good way to put it, that the police will protect you, and of course they're never there. You can go listen to Lionel and see what he was saying there, but I think it was spot on, of course. But the real problem is we have these people that want to tear down our country in every possible way they can. I mean, a lot of it we've done to ourselves because we, as I've said, and I'm not going to waste a lot of time on it, other than the fact that what happened yesterday was phenomenal for reasons that I'm going to get into that are above and beyond, I think, although it goes along quite a bit with the idea that people are starting to understand what's going on here, at least at some level. But I was not very happy with President Trump. Okay, I've bashed the Democrats, Democrats, the Marxists, the criminals in the government. I've bashed Northam, and I'm also going to say I'm very displeased. I've gotten information that the FBI was there, of course, getting information on the people in the demonstration, as they always do, and that they're going to press hard on investigating these different people that were there, particularly if they have any indication you're part of a militia, which is totally legal in this country. It's absolutely outrageous. So the FBI is more concerned about people upholding the Constitution and their Bill of Rights than they are communists and Marxists that have infiltrated our government. And in fact, the FBI has assisted them in doing that. Look at Brennan, look at Comey. I mean, we can go on and on, all right? So I'm very upset with where our government is, who they think the enemy is. I'm not happy about that, but we've known about it for a long time. However, I wasn't real happy with President Trump. He had a prearranged engagement, I guess, to talk to the farmers in Austin, Texas. I kind of understand that. And he tweeted out a few things, you know, if you're on Twitter, and I put the information on here. He did say, he came out with a tweet and he said, there are those that are trying to take away attacking your Second Amendment, vote Republican. And I wasn't happy about it. And I want to show you this and what I said. That was one of two tweets that he sent out. He was not in the area, you know. He didn't take the precautions prior to have his government, at least that we know. I'll give him a little bit of benefit of the doubt that we know that he was making sure that things weren't going to happen. It could very well be, but and sometimes not seeing something is a good thing. But I brought this up for another reason. I know this is where the chat is for you folks, but I want you to see what I did here. I sent out a tweet after he did, actually a tweet and this. Let me get it a little bigger. Look what he says here, okay? This was basically once the rally was almost over last night, okay? He hadn't said anything about I support these folks, what Northam's done is wrong, you know, I mean, very nebulous statements about where he stands on this. And this was what he put out, and this infuriated me, frankly. If you'll see that there, his tweet is, I will never, in caps, allow our great Second Amendment to go unprotected. Not even a little bit. Are you kidding me? Bump stock bans, red flag laws that he pushed, also the surveillance on the Guardian program of Barr. We're going to talk a little bit about what Barr isn't doing and what he is doing here in a few minutes. Are you kidding me? And people will believe this without any critical thought. So I answered him. I said, I didn't even give him the respect of a decent answer. I just said, as you can see there, really, question mark, and his quotes, not even a little bit, then, close quotes, then, really, question mark again. I will not even honor this absurdity with any more of a comment. He will never allow our great Second Amendment to go unprotected, not even for a little bit. No, we're where he is because he gave the green light on the gather the guns up and due process later statement that he made in that meeting that he was in with Nancy Pelosi and Feinstein and those people. And that was back about a year and a half ago, if I'm not mistaken. You all probably know about it. If you don't, I had one guy challenging me on it saying, he never said that. He said, take them with due process. No, he didn't. No, he did not. And that's a real problem. So I'm just going to leave that right there just so that it's still up on the screen so you know what we're talking about. This is unacceptable. It's just plain unacceptable. And if you folks want to go along with this charade that he's been pulling, that's fine. But I think we need to start protecting ourselves. This is absurd. Northam committed a sedition. He went against his oath of office. He criminally tried to put people in cages, which I'm surprised the fire department even allowed him to do. I mean, this is absolutely absurd what's happened here. Absolutely absurd. Boy, this is way too loud. Let me lower this microphone down a little bit. Is that any better? Hopefully so. I don't want it to overmodulate too much. So basically, Northam's still free, Clinton's still free, Brennan's still free, Clapper's still free, Comey's still free, Strzok's still free, etc., etc., etc. And one of the key witnesses in an international pedophile situation that's probably set up by the intelligence services to bribe and extort and blackmail government people, of all types, either gets suicided, murdered, or just disappears under his watch and bars. This isn't looking good, ladies and gentlemen. This statement from yesterday, this one right here, he needs to be ashamed of himself because he's done nothing. Right today, Northam should be arrested today. But it never happens. And I'm sorry, I know people are saying, we're pretty well divided on this. Oh, he can't do it, Roy, and then others saying he must, okay? I'll tell you something, okay? I don't want to speak for Lieutenant Colonel Anthony Schaefer or the other officers that have been commenting about what's going on here, or people involved in the intelligence services that are decent. But a lot of them can't say, and I've talked about this before, a lot of them can't say what they really mean because they're still subject to the UCMJ. They can't really attack the president. Well, I can. Even though I'm military, I didn't have that problem with the retirement of the UCMJ, and I've explained all that before, but I will speak my mind, and that's what's wrong here. This guy has to fix this, and I'm not buying any more that he can't. No, it's that he won't, and the people that keeps putting in power and his lack of action just keeps happening and keeps happening. Who were the real heroes yesterday? Well, obviously, the people that showed up to the demonstration, obviously the people that actually set it up, that organized it, and then of course the brave county sheriffs and police and military that showed up there to be with the demonstrators and really kept a lid on this whole thing. But I want to talk about something else that I think is happening here, and others have mentioned this. We're at a place now where there's a division occurring between those who try to do the right and those who deliberately try to do the wrong. However you want to judge that is up to you. But I wanted to point out that I believe, as I've talked about for a long time, that there is this division happening, and it's people that are I don't want to use the word waking up. That has some other connotations, the Great Awakening and all that stuff. But I would say inspiration. I would say getting back in tune, realizing that we've gone too far and we're trying to get back in tune. And it's crossing racial lines. It's crossing lines amongst men and women. It's crossing national lines. It's crossing social, economic lines. It's really incredible. But it's on the good side and the bad. That great division I've talked about is happening. But I wanted to point out that I think what we saw yesterday, if you all followed it all, there were Black Panthers there supporting the Second Amendment and the demonstrators. There were, of course, people of all races, colors, and creeds there supporting the Second Amendment. What were they doing? They were all gathered against the government that is trying to suppress the rights of the people, guaranteed under the Constitution that the government won't do that. These people were there all gathering together for that one thing. It even went across religious lines. Do you see what happened here? The government is the enemy, and the people realized that it's the government trying to suppress their rights, and they all came together across all of those different categories, put down their animosities. Well, Antifa had a problem. Even some Antifa were there for the Second Amendment, but we were watching that, right? But at any rate, the point is, we were all pointing at the government. You guys, you people, you Nancy Pelosi, you Feinstein, you Schumer, you right down the line, have been trying to take our rights from us when you told us you would go in those offices and guarantee us. And I don't care about any other people saying, well, they have a right to change it because the majority of the people don't want it. We're a republic, not a democracy, number one. Number two, majoritarian coercion is outside the limits of constitutionality. The Bill of Rights are inviolate. And the people inherently understood that, and that they have a right to defend themselves. They see all the problems that are going on, and they want the right to defend themselves. Not even a majority in this country, not even a majority, can just simply vote and say that you can't have a specific weapon, or that you can't defend yourself, or that you don't have a Second Amendment anymore. The only way that can happen legally in this country is for an amendment to the Constitution by the states. That's the only way. At any rate, I want to read something to you that kind of defines what's happening here, because I think it's so important. So I'm going to bring this up. As a lot of you know, I wrote a book called, I wanted to have a copy and show it to you, but I just can't. I just don't have one with me. It was called The Crimson Thread, The Struggle to Become Jesus During the Revolt Against Rome. A lot of you will know that I wrote that book. A lot of you, when it was available on Amazon, you got it. It's no longer available. I think you can still see it on there, but you can't order it. It's out of print. Amazon wanted to play some tricks with me. They changed some things that happened and had a new system set up, and frankly, I just didn't want to put up with it. And it wasn't a #1 bestseller, so it's not a big loss. But it's a blue cover. I would have had a picture for you, but I couldn't even find that. But I wrote that book to show this thing that was happening in the first century that was occurring, and the political climate that it existed in, that it came to fruition in. So I'm going to read you a paragraph out of my book. It's in the introduction. Again, it's called The Crimson Thread, The Struggle to Become Jesus During the Revolt Against Rome. And I want you to just listen here, because this is what happened yesterday. This is what happened. Okay, this paragraph, I don't even know what page it's on. I'm looking at my manuscript, okay? So I don't know what page it is on the actual book, but it's in the introduction. This is the story of the beginning of that consciousness which would cause the great kingdoms of the earth to tremble. The empires and governments of the world, the rich and powerful rulers over the common man, saw a vision of their own demise in the rising of the people to new levels of realization. During and beyond the events of this book, the great powers of the world would use highly refined systems of fear and manipulation to hide the truth of these events from subsequent generations, and to seek to suppress the swelling of liberty in the hearts of individuals over whom they held power. The Roman Empire, the Inquisition, and even on to the present day. Whoops, I lost it. That's one thing about this. Trying to do this on the fly like this. You always... Okay, I'm almost back. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. I should know better than to try to do it that way. I guess I should get a different computer. That just makes me angry. Let's see if I can find it. It just jumped. I'll start all over again, because I think it's a worthwhile thing to do, and I'm sorry this happened. Gee. It's a long book. It's about 430 pages or so. Okay, let's see if I can find it. Okay, here we are back. I'm going to start over again, because I think it's that important, okay? I'm sorry. Like I say, I don't have my regular setup, and I still screw that up too, because I'm a one-man show. Starting over again. This is the story of the beginning of that consciousness which would cause the great kingdoms of the earth to tremble. The empires and governments of the world, the rich and powerful rulers over the common man, saw a vision of their own demise and the rising of the people to new levels of realization. During and beyond the events of this book, the great powers of the world would use highly refined systems of fear and manipulation to hide the truth of these events from subsequent generations, and seek to suppress the swelling of liberty in the hearts of individuals over whom they held power. The Roman Empire, the Inquisition, and even on to the present day, the powerful try to manipulate and control the masses using a potent mixture of religiosity, superstition, and fear. But the truth whispers to our consciousness, like the remembrance of a son for a father. Will we listen? I wrote that book well, it was published in 2006. Okay? And what it is, it's about, remember what Jesus said for those of you who followed it, or others who are on the same path, the truth will set you free. And the whole idea of the gospel, the whole idea of the rising of the consciousness of mankind was so that they could have liberty. But there are these control systems that don't like it. And what we saw yesterday, again, were people receiving this good spirit, putting down their differences of race, religion, etc., nationality, etc., and saying, you government, you agreed to abide by the terms of this contract that said that you would protect these liberties and not violate them, and you have violated them, and we all spoke with one voice there. Now there are others on the other side who feel strongly about their situation because they want to, they do, it's not about safety or any of that, as you know. It's about getting control over you and being able to do what they want to you without fear of reprisal. We've seen that time and time again. So that was the most significant thing that happened yesterday, and I think everybody knows it deep down inside, but I wanted to put words to it, okay? I wanted you to hear those words, and I'm sorry again that I lost it there for a minute. Okay, moving on. You need to get in Trump's face. You need to get in his face and ask him what the hell he's doing. You know, he's playing politics with this. He will never, well, he already has in a little bit, interfered with the Second Amendment. And it's been disastrous because that was the green light that he gave. This whole red law thing just went crazy. So he should be ashamed of himself. A leader doesn't do that who says he's a champion. I'm sorry. I'm not happy with this. Anything that's going on. We're going to talk about Barr again. I already mentioned the situation with Epstein. Well, True Pundit came out. If you know what True Pundit is, it's on the web. You can go to truepundit.com, and it's also on Twitter. And I think they also have a YouTube place as well. But what happened here was, I won't look it up. I'll just tell you what they're talking about. Go to True Pundit and you'll see this information. Actually, I guess I better. You won't know what to look for. So let me find this here. Okay. Let's search it. Okay. He put this up, or they put this up the other day. Okay. I don't know if you'll be able to see this. It was put up actually today, and it's under True Pundit. I'll show you this in a minute. The title of the article is Exclusive: Barr and DOJ Cover Up Massive New Hillary Clinton Scandal That Will Rock D.C. I don't know if you'll be able to see this. I'm going to put it up here so you can see what I'm talking about there, okay? And it's True Pundit, and this is what they look like so that you know. This is the tweet that it came out on. See that? Okay? Two important things about this that I need to bring up. First of all, there are those who are coming forward. Now, this guy in True Pundit, you know, he goes by the name Thomas Paine. That's his writing name. His actual name is Mike, and I forget his last name. You'll have to pardon me. But what he says is actually verified by everything that's actually happening. Okay, so we're going to take it from that point. So more information on the Hillary scandal has come up, and Barr is burning it. He hasn't gotten rid of the people in the DOJ. People say, well, he can't, Roy can't. Yes, he can. Yes, he can. He has refused to do this, and Trump has allowed him to get away with it. Was this a fix-it thing? Well, it's looking like Trump knew about it. Okay, that's why I'm furious with Trump. Oh, he's going to fix all this in his second term, everybody says. Well, I don't have a lot of faith in that right now. Again, it's going to have to go back to the people, and they're going to call you domestic terrorists for standing up. Like the FBI going after the militias that were there and the other people that were there at the rally yesterday. That's what they're going to do. Not after the people that are in our government, subverting our government from the inside. Oh, no, no, no. Not Hillary Clinton. They gave her a pass, just like we saw Comey did. And Thomas Paine, a true pundit, is now pointing out that they're going to do it again. And that's not good. Okay. He also brings up, and I haven't been able to double check this, but I'm giving it out to you so that you can go and look for it yourself. Apparently, Barr has also given a pass to the many Saudis who at least had a possible knowledge of this thing. You know, they're going because of the shooting that occurred by the Saudi national, right? Who was in the flight program at one of the military bases there in Florida. So the DOJ and the FBI went in, and I'm sure the military intelligence and military police folks, investigators, etc., went and were looking at this too. Well, apparently, from what True Pundit is saying, is that Barr is giving the Saudis a pass, and he's just going to have them leave the country. Remember the Bin Laden thing? We had 9/11, and they said it was Bin Laden, and what did they do? They shipped out all the Bin Ladens out of the Saudis out of the country. Nobody else could fly, but they could. Ladies and gentlemen, Trump and Barr are not giving me fuzzy feelings. Now, I told you also last month that I heard that it came from Greg Rubini that it's very possible that Durham will come out with some things right around now to the middle of February. Of course, Barr said it would be late spring or early summer, which is also absurd. And people are thinking, well, it's a political thing, you know, they want to hit everybody with this stuff, you know, during the Democrat convention, all that. You're not going to change their minds, ladies and gentlemen. It's not going to matter. These people need to be collared now, and they're not being. So, is Durham going to come out with something in the next, either now or in the next, 4 to 6 weeks? I'm not sure, but that was the information that Greg Rubini brought out. Very good source, and I think that may happen, but I'm not looking for any dramatic collaring of people, especially with Barr pulling the shenanigans he is. Ladies and gentlemen, if Trump doesn't get a handle on this and actually take action, he should have arrested Northam. Northam, you noticed, called the demonstration an insurrection. Did you notice that? No, they were abiding by the principles of the Constitution. Chris Ann Hall talked about the difference between the Dillon Rule and the other, and I forget the name of the other one. But the Dillon Rule is that state law takes precedence over local law. Okay, and that's true when it comes to things like traffic laws and contract law and that kind of stuff. But the Dillon Law cannot and does not, maybe I should say it the other way, does not and cannot apply to the Bill of Rights. So in fact, they try to use the terms against us, and Northam was saying that the people there were, and the counties are in insurrection because they're going against the state, not in natural rights, not in the Bill of Rights. No, the people are right in this. It's Northam that's in the insurrection. Northam is the one who is violating the Constitution. Northam is committing sedition, and all those that are supporting him in the stand that he has. Trump has to act. Oh, he doesn't have the political capital. Well, I'm not so sure that Kennedy did either when he acted. Remember, I put, if you all follow, by the way, if you go to the community tab on my channel, if you're not following the posts that I make on the YouTube timeline, and they are being shadow banned, I've verified that. But you can go on my website here, on my YouTube channel, and go to the community tab. On that community tab, you will see that I post messages, and you can all look at them. It doesn't restrict anybody, that are just like this one here. They'll look very similar to this, or they'll just be, statements. Okay, just like that. That's how I decided to kind of keep up on things rather than making too many posts all the time. Not that I'm opposed to making posts, but just if something occurs and I can't set up a live stream or I can't do a recording, I can put up a quick post like this. Okay, so go there and look at those, and you'll see some of the things that I've been concerned about. I don't think Barr is acting in our best interests, and this is going to be devastating. Again, like I read from my book and like I talked about yesterday, our real hope is that the people, their consciousness will arise, will awaken, for lack of a better term, and they will unite to see who their true enemy is. And it's the people that sit in seats of power, who are not that they're wrong to be. I mean, it's okay to take those positions, but when you guarantee the rights of the people and then do everything you can to subvert them, I don't care if they're in session in Congress or not, they should be arrested, because that is sedition. Remember Trump saying, if I were president, you'd be in jail? And then right after he got elected, he says, oh no, I'm not going to do that. The Clintons are good people. Well, which one of those is he following? I'm sorry to have to be hard on Trump, but I'm not going to pussyfoot, and I'm not going to sugarcoat it, and I'm not going to be here doing the rah, rah, rah when I see these things like this. Where is it with my hand here? Right there. Like this happening. I'm not going to do it. And so if you want that, it's like I've told you in the past, you're going to have to go somewhere else. Okay. Well, that's really all I wanted to do this morning. Like I said, I'm traveling again, so I don't want to take up a whole lot of time. Plus the fact that, like I say, this is definitely a a makeshift. Yeah. Well, I have my cooler with my food. My camera's sitting. I don't want to put it on the computer because it's too low, so I have it on a chair, on a stool actually, with my cooler on that, and then the lid open, and my camera mounted on the lid of the cooler. Yeah, that's really funny. And I had to arrange some lights in here so there weren't too many shadows. It's really kind of funny what I had to do here. Field expediency, that's what we call it. Let's see what you're talking about in chat. We will do that. Yeah, I just saw one. He Hate Me says search bar pre-crime. That's what I'm talking about. That's the Guardian program, okay? And Trump okayed that. This whole thing started because Trump said he wanted the social network, the social media companies like Facebook, Twitter, all these, YouTube, etc., to monitor us in case we get angry. So now you can't even have emotions. By the way, the people that I'm visiting, I won't give you a whole lot of details, but what happened in this situation is that their son, a very upright man, a professional, in his 30s, was dating a woman. They were doing very, very well, probably going to get married, and he was paying for this woman's education and some other things, doing a lot for her, okay? Well, basically she took all of the gifts that he gave her and left, suddenly, without any notification. He had her email, and he wrote her, and he said, how dare you, and he didn't make any threats. He didn't say he was going to hurt her or anything like that. He accused her of he called her a few names, and he was definitely angry. Okay? And rightly so. Well, you'll never guess what happened. Well, yeah, you will. Because of President Trump's red flag push, the police came to his house and took all of his weapons for merely telling this woman off, for ripping him off. And then not only did they do that, but they went after him for, I'm not going to tell you what it was because that might identify who they are, but they charged him with a crime, which it was not. So in other words, they're saying, if you're angry with somebody and all you got to do is call them a name, call them out, basically. So now you can't even have emotion. You can't even be upset that somebody rips you off. Now you're charged with a crime and your weapons are taken. He had to go on probation. It's ridiculous. He served time in jail, and now he's on probation, and it's ridiculous. And I could tell you lots of other stories. President Trump is responsible for this. He started down that road, and he hasn't done anything to turn it around. And that's what they want. That's how they're using this. There have been something like 2,500 seizures in Florida. How many in California? I have no idea. And this is the basis upon which they do it. You know, you'd think it'd be somebody who's typing, they're going to go out there and do a mass shooting, or they're going to go kill their neighbor because of something they did or whatever. But still, why are they surveilling these this is mass surveillance on a scale that Trump said he was going to stop. He had ordered his DNI coats to stop all unlawful surveillance. Well, I guess that's the key, unlawful, right? So they pass these silly laws that are in violation of the Constitution, which are also unlawful, these silly laws. Well, I'm rambling now. You can see I'm not happy, and I don't see this changing, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not going to be on the Trump train cheering him on. What else? Some people write me and say, well, Roy, who else is there? What are you going to do about it? I didn't ask for the job. I hired a guy who said he would do it. I'd be fine with it, but nobody's going to put me in the White House. That just ain't going to happen. But people say, Roy, he can't do anything. Well, then what's he there for? Oh, he'll be able to do it in a second term. No, he won't. Look what Vladimir Putin did. I'm going to pat him on the back. He just dismantled his government because he found all this stuff going on. The Western media is trying to make it sound like he's a dictator and that he's setting it up for him being able to take control and no, he has a corrupt government too, and he has the guts to do something about it. He still walks like a KGB agent, as a matter of fact, so he knows his stuff. I'm sorry, I went off on way too long a tangent here. Shouldn't have done that, I suppose. Let's go back up to the top, and I'm just going to hit a few of these. Yeah, New Mexico Star. Yeah, Star Alley. Thanks for being here. Yeah, New Mexico is also talking about it next. Yeah, this is out of control, and this. Trump has painted himself in a corner and us. How is he going to back out of this and tell these states they're being wrong now and they're engaging in sedition and insurrection? Well, he's just going to have to find the courage in his gut and go for it. But you know what, folks? He ain't going to do it. He ain't going to do it. We're on our own, just like I said. They're balkanizing us, and he's not doing anything to stop it. I'm sorry, but he isn't. Rich Higgins is again pulling his hair out. If Colonel Schaefer's listening, which I don't think he does, but if he is, he's pulling his hair out. Because everybody's saying, well, he's the only chance we have. No, ladies and gentlemen, the chance we have is what happened in Richmond yesterday with the people coming together. That's where our true strength is, because these people get into office and they lie. The things that go on in there, and the extortion and the blackmail. We don't have a champion. The only champion we have is God. And that's kind of interesting, because that's what the book of Judges was about, right? The people, they trusted God. No, they had some problems, but then, they said they wanted a king. And Samuel, Prophet Samuel, he doesn't want to do that because he knows it's not right? It was kind of like a republic, kind of like what we've got now. Not exactly, but in some ways like that. And they had these judges that were set in to solve problems and all that, but the people wanted a king to be like everybody else. And so God comes to Samuel. He says, okay, yeah, well, they've rejected me. They haven't rejected you, Samuel. They've rejected me. And so they don't want my spirit with them. They want to be ruled over by a man. Okay, well, if you remember, it didn't quite go according to plan, right? The blessings that Jacob, or Israel, gave to his sons said that the scepter would not part from Judah, or a lawgiver from between his feet, until Shiloh comes. Do you remember that? That was long before Samuel, and that was long before even the Judges thing was going on. Do you remember that? So it's already told that the king's going to be from Judah. The scepter shall not pass from Judah, nor a lawgiver from between his feet, until Shiloh comes. Well, who was the first king of Israel that Samuel anointed? Saul. He was a Benjamite. He wasn't from Judah. God was spitting in their face already. You don't abide by my law, I'm not held and bound, and I'm not going to help you out. You're going to reap the reward. So we got to stop looking to these people. Why have I given Trump the benefit of the doubt? Well, he said he would do it. But as soon as he started playing these games, we should have known better. Could we have recalled him? No. We have to be on our own. And I don't really care if Trump gets elected now or not. I really don't care. I don't think it's made. It's like I've said all along. He's been a slow-mo HRC. Now he wants to take credit. Allah will never. I will never. Right? Not even one little bit, and he already has. I know I'm digging on him. I know. Yeah, the USMCA is a problem. Wood nickel. Yeah, I know. I've already talked about that. See, that's what I mean. What's changed, really? Immigration's worse. They're taking over our country. I'm not saying they're bad people. They're looking for a good life, but they know nothing of our traditions and our understanding of our republic or our Bill of Rights or any of that. All they understand is they're getting a free paycheck and an opportunity to work if they want. Balkanization is continuing. Yeah, disgustable. I agree with that. It does appear that we had a win yesterday. I'm not sure yet if appearances are really in our favor yet. The media never loses control of the narrative. Right. As a matter of fact, if you listen to High Impact Vlogs, he had an article that came out. There was a shooting in Kansas City, and they mingled the demonstration in Richmond with this shooting in Kansas City, and then even blew it up out of proportion. The Vlogs didn't do that. He was reporting on the news people that did this, and were trying to claim that there were 23 people killed at the rally in Richmond and many injuries. And of course that didn't happen. They were conflating the situation that happened in Kansas City, which was actually not as bad as they were reporting anyway, with the demonstration. So yeah, they lie. Of course they do. And who's in our government? Why isn't the DOJ going after these seditionists and these insurrectionists in the government and in the media? No, they go after we find out the FBI is there getting information on militias at the demonstration. Criminals running our government. Just like I've said with my motto there on the channel all this time, the IC, which includes the FBI. Intelligence community is our most dangerous domestic enemy. They don't give one rat's ass about the Constitution or about protecting you. Not one rat's ass. Okay, let's see. I'm not sure what this is here. Oh, I see. You're talking about a computer. Yeah, I've actually got a good computer. I just don't travel with it. This is my backup. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I agree with what you guys are saying about jury nullification and all these assemblies and things. The problem is that they always say that those aren't competent authority and they're not bound by them. That's why I've said we needed Trump to really step up to the plate here. Was it going to be dangerous? Yes. But if we don't have competent authority cover, it makes us very difficult to operate because they're going to call you a domestic terrorist, which they'll do anyway, even if you follow the president's cover. But at least you've got it. But he's not providing that for us. He just isn't. Okay. I like that, Edelson James. Jesus is all about the perfect law of liberty. How long have I been talking about the perfect law of liberty? James was the one that coined the phrase. I mean, it was kind of a different thing than the truth will set you free. That thing that Jesus is attributed to have said. James is the one who actually put it in the phrase of the perfect law of liberty. James is the Greek form of Yaakov, by the way, in case you didn't know. Yeah, Smitty Smith, where were Matt Gaetz and McSally and all these other people? I know. See what I'm saying? These are politicians who are trying to keep in office. They don't have your interests at heart, and they never ever have. And yesterday proved it. Trump tried to use it for his own political purposes. I will never abandon the Second Amendment. He already has. Good talk, but never any action. As a matter of fact, he's done actions to hurt the Second Amendment. Seriously hurt it. Sergeant Dean Eagle, the government might control D.C., but the people control the states. U.S. versus government. Well, that's not entirely true. I wish it were true. It can be true, but that's not how it's playing out. Most of the states, the people don't even control their state governments. I mean, Virginia is a perfect example. Colorado, Illinois, California. I wish it were true, but it isn't. So what do we do? Get ready to stand on your own. This is going to balkanize. Okay, it's going to happen. There's not going to be any savior out there like Trump. As a matter of fact, I got to bring this up one more time. I really like Trey Smith. If you don't know who he is, he's God in a nutshell. He's on YouTube and he has a website. Excellent video creator, producer, director. His programs are always very interesting. He shows, the Middle East. He talks about all these different things, spiritual things. Really great guy. I really do like him, so I'm not putting him down. And I'm also not putting down the guy he holds up as a prophet. That's Ken Clement, who died several years ago. I don't want to put a dispersion on him, but I have to tell you, because a lot of people used Ken Clement's, including Trey Smith using it, prophecies about Trump, that he would get into office and that he would be impeached, but the impeachment wouldn't succeed. All of these different things. Well, the problem is that Ken Clement also said that Bill Gates would help save the country financially. They always forget about that part of the prophecy. Well, that kind of negates the whole thing. So just because the devil knows what's going to happen, and I'm not saying Ken was a bad man. I'm not saying that. We're all subject to this, even myself included. But you have to look at what happens on the ground. You can't just hold on to an empty promise, or to a promise that's void right away because the situation doesn't meet the parameters that it's set for itself. So what I see is, and I'm going to say it again, and until Trump reverses course and somebody gets collared, and I don't mean the little people like the demonstrators at the Virginia rally yesterday, or the Bundys, no. People like Comey have to go down, Strzok, Brennan, Clapper, HRC, and people say, well, Hillary never will go down. That's my point. We're on our own, ladies and gentlemen. That's just the way it is. Okay, let's see what else I got here. And then we'll go. It's been almost 50 minutes. Booger Dog. I've been watching some of your stuff, Booger Dog. I like a lot of the things that you've been posting elsewhere, too. And he says, and Ray is the drain plug, swamp. Yeah, yeah, he's clogging it. He's the plug in the drain, yeah, I know. Liza Jean, I haven't seen you in a while either. Does Trump think that just because he says something it's true? Sorry, but I have no confidence in his Israel First senior advisor and experienced Kushner and several others in his huddle. I agree. And it's like I've said all along. I don't care if people have dual citizenship, but I don't believe that it's in our country's best interest to have people in elected office or in bureaucratic offices or in law enforcement offices of any kind, shape, or form who have dual citizenship. I don't care if it's with U.S. and Israel, U.S. and Canada, U.S. and Britain, U.S. and Australia, U.S. and New Zealand. I don't care. If you have dual citizenship, that should be an automatic disqualification. So I'm not just jumping on Israel, but I hear you, Liza Jean. I hear you. Thanks for being here, Liza Jean. It's been a while. Okay. Joe is saying DEFCON 1 alert. I don't know what you're talking about. See, that's a problem. We throw some of these terms around. We don't know what they mean. If it's DEFCON 1, I'm afraid you'd already be having to go to a shelter. Okay, that's not the case. I don't know what that's about. Yeah, Edelson James asking about citizen grand juries. We have a right to do that, but like I said, they're never recognized by the system. I mean, you can have all those you want, and it's never going to happen. It's going to have to be. The whole thing is going to just have to be destroyed. Not that we're going to destroy it. It's going to cave in on itself, just like we saw in Richmond yesterday, right? The people came together based upon a principle. Haven't I said that before? Principles, not personalities. I'm not a cult of personality worshiper. I'm a principle guy. I mean, I'm not always right, but the point is these people came together based on a principle. And that's what will pull us through this. And it's not going to be the government. It's not going to be Trump. Barr's going to let us down. Durham, even if he has the best of intentions and is working his ass off, even if he finds all these things, Barr's not going to let it happen. It's like I said, right when Barr came on. Barr's here to save the institutions. And then you got to take it from where Rich Higgins said, personnel is policy, personnel is the institution as well. So what we're seeing is Barr saving these people. Why? They probably have dirt on him, and he has dirt on them, and so they're all going to pat each other's backs, and we're going to be the victims at the end of all this. They're going to take our property, take our money, take our children. Wow. We could just go on all day about how bad this is, and I don't want to do that. I'm here to have another little short vacation. Sandra Van Langveld, federal law supersedes state law. Go listen to Chris Ann Hall. There is the supremacy clause in the Constitution about federal law taking precedence, but not if it violates Marbury versus Madison. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, Sandra, you need to go look that up. Okay, I don't want to spend time here. I've already kind of mentioned it a couple times. And the states can gather together and nullify federal law. They can. There is a way to do it. Liza G, I agree. Yesterday was a big message to those trying to destroy the Second Amendment, but you got to understand, and I'm sure you do, that they're not going to give up that easy, number one. Number two, the FBI is already looking at those people as possible domestic terrorists. It's already come out. And that's how the system responds. But you're right, it was a very strong message, and they did a wonderful job. They really, really did. They didn't have as many people in the fenced-in area as they were first saying they were, which really made me happy because it was kind of a slap in the face of Northam. There were still quite a number in there, but they used it. Most of the people were outside, and I was so happy to see that because I've been pushing not to fall into that trap. Maybe again with the other sheriffs and people there, I think that's what averted a real disaster because the bad actors wouldn't have been able to pull it off without good LEOs seeing it happen and would have reacted accordingly. Okay. Yeah, Sandra, yeah, Washington State is totally a mess due to demon rats. Yeah, it is. I have a daughter that lives up there, and maybe you saw me. I was there during the Christmas break between Christmas and New Year's. Did a number of posts from there, and yeah, I'm very well aware of what's going on in Washington State. And Trump does nothing. What did he say here again? I mean, this just boggles my mind, right? What did he say here? I see this and I just can't believe it, but it's true. He actually said it. It's his own tweet. I will never allow our great Second Amendment to go unprotected, not even a little bit. Not only has he I've already said it, I know. Not only has he not protected the Second Amendment, he's acted against it. Double talk and lies, even from Trump. I'm sorry, but that's just the way it is. If you don't like me saying that, you don't have to be here. See, I don't have to worry about the UCMJ. I don't have to worry about, I don't have to worry about, oh, are they going to send me money? Am I going to get clicks? Am I going to get follows? Doesn't matter. Daniel Grant, thank you. I'm sending positive energy to you today. Thank you to me. That's very nice. I could use it. You can hear I'm a little hoarse. When it gets cold, this happens to me. And of course, drinking coffee makes your vocal cords tighter, because you get dehydrated. But, oh well. Okay, we're going to go for about another 2 minutes, and then I'll sign off here. I like that. Earl Thornton, by their fruits you will know them. Look at what Barr does and what Trump does, not what they say. Yes. Yes. Oh, he's doing it behind the scenes. He's getting ready. He's gathering all the evidence. He's being Sun Tzu, letting them attack him so he can expose. It's way beyond that, ladies and gentlemen. That's not what's happening. Not now. He might get through this impeachment process, but this is all to tell him who's in charge. He should have declared an insurrection months ago and acted, but he didn't. Did he have the support? I don't care. He has Article 2, Section 2 and 3, and he could have used it, and he did. Maybe because he doesn't know, maybe because Jay Sekulow not telling him what the way the thing works, or Cipollone, whatever his name is, the other attorney. So we're going to go with the impeachment now. The trial portion. No, he's not guilty of any of the claims against him. Not one. This is bogus, but here we go again. They're all each other's friends in there, and Barr's going to help cover it up. Barr's not going to take any action. Barr's going to smooth it all over. Barr is going to treat us criminally, and he's going to let the real criminals get away. Okay. Hi, Spiral Bear. Tramples our rights to face our accusers as well. Yeah. Okay. Captain Carl, he says, Roy, only states can restore 10th Amendment law and order via incremental monthly trenches of state nullification. Yeah, I understand, Carl, and that is the way to do it, but it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. They've got control of the... Again, look at the Virginia State Legislature. I wish it could... This is going to be an individual, small group thing. And the entire system is going to burn down around us, and all we're going to have is what we can produce ourselves. The Chinese are going to invade on the West Coast. You think I'm kidding? There's going to be a war here of unprecedented proportions amongst ourselves because they're pushing it with the immigration and everything else. And then the UN is going to come in. Carl, it's not going to work. We're long past any ability to do this. You're right. I'm not saying the principle is wrong. I'm saying it's impossible to implement. It's not going to happen. It just isn't. I'm sorry. It isn't going to happen. They've had over 100 years, 150 years to plan how they were going to do this, and they talked about doing it 150 years ago. They know what they're doing. And they don't necessarily have to happen even in their own lifetimes. I wish it was right. I'm not saying the principle is wrong. I'm not saying that isn't what should happen. What I'm telling you, Carl, is it's not going to happen. All we got to do is push it. No, that's not how it works. The system is too corrupt. It's rotted from the inside. You see what they say. They say that they can declare a right of yours null and void rather than us being able to say, no, you're involved in insurrection and sedition. And even Trump falls for it. Oh, I'm never going to let your Second Amendment be touched. Frankly, I'm tired of listening to him. Dan says reluctantly. Uh-oh, Roy getting upset. Is it time for Roy to go into timeout? Yeah, probably. I'm going to leave here in just a minute. Okay, we're down at the bottom of the chat. Thanks, everybody, for coming. I would still take the time to get on Trump's case. Please do. Get on Rand Paul's case. McConnell's a lost cause. He's just playing a game at this point. They're telling Trump, you either play with us or we're gonna drop the guillotine. That's all that's happening right now, and Trump's gonna cave. He's probably already agreed, so they're gonna let him skate, but nothing's gonna happen, okay? Because he did not use his presidential authority the way he needed to. Again, do I recognize the dangers of that? Of course I do, but there was no other way. So now the country is going to be totally balkanized and torn apart. That's what's happening. Okay, so get ready for it. That's all I got for you. Okay. Thanks again. Oh, Headlines of the Voice. Hi, Nancy. Man, have we had a few days or not? Thank you for all of your wonderful, to-the-point posts. Everybody, if you're not subscribed to Headlines with the Voice here on YouTube, please go there. Outstanding information. She's always spot on. Nobody's 100% right. No one is. But she comes damn close, as does Gigi Sims. I push her a lot. Pam Jones, of course, with her Pam Jones for Liberty pedophile disclosure project. She's been very good. And I could go on and on. I don't even pay attention to I'm sorry, I just don't. Sean Hannity, Greg Jarrett, Sarah Carter's okay, but she's still in that group. It's all rah, rah, rah. This is going to happen, and it does, and then they never say, oh, so Al, we don't know why it didn't. I just don't need it anymore. And Alex Jones is kind of in that same category, but I give Alex a lot of leeway, like for a lot of reasons. He's been at this for a long time, and he's suffered a lot of injuries, and if he has a form of PTSD, I certainly understand. But I look at David Knight, I look at Rob Dew, and a lot of the other folks in his staff, and despite the fact that it's one continual run-on commercial, they're still doing a good job there, is my feeling on it. All right. I'll see y'all later. Thanks for coming, and keep track of things over the next little while. It's still going to be touch and go, and eventually, if Trump doesn't repent, and that's what he needs to do, and stand up for the people in reality, and not just fix the system for getting money, which is going to fall apart too, because that's not going to work, not in the long run. If he doesn't go and fix the principles and abide by them, we're coming down. Okay? It's coming down. So keep your head on a swivel, keep your eyes on the horizon, ears to the ground, situational awareness on high. Buy guns and ammunition, buy food, store water, get medical supplies. You've heard me say the whole mantra. Even Colonel Manus and Colonel Schlichter are always saying buy guns and ammunition, and Colonel Schaefer started saying the same thing. So we can see it. Those guys, the retired officers, really can't say too much more than that, but I can. Your government is your enemy. The president is not doing his job. The president is helping the military-industrial complex, the deep state, to function at higher levels. He's not bringing them down, and he's helping them to gain more power and more money and more power. And we're getting a little trickle-down effect from it, but that's not even working that well. I see closed businesses everywhere. Some people are doing well. A lot of it has to do with the internet, like I've said before, but there are other factors going on here. Excruciating and weighty taxes to support the non-producers. We're in a lot of trouble. Oh, he's trying to fix that too. Really? By bringing in more illegal immigrants now than ever before? I know a lady who's putting in for TSA. You should have seen the background investigation she had to fill out. It's going to take her days to do it. You know what? You come in on a plane from an Islamic country, they don't even ask for your ID. And there are those people working at TSA, and they don't go through any of that. Look at the immigrants getting driver's licenses in New York, and with that they'll be able to vote. And they don't even have to pass the tests. Let's see, what does the Constitution say? That you're guaranteed you're guaranteed equality under the law. We not only have a two-tiered justice system, we have a racially discriminating, a nationally discriminating, a sexual discriminating society and government. And I don't mean the way the Me Too movement talks about. You can't even be happy. I mean, everybody else can be happy about their racial situation, but not whites. Ban me, YouTube. I can go on a vacation. All right, everybody, you get my point. Thanks for coming. We're out of here. I'll see you in the next few days. If something really pops up important, I'll come on and do an impromptu. Okay? All right. Maybe my voice will be back by then. Out here for now.